Well, it's time to hang on tight, gang. But not stalactite. Because the saucer's flying in, Doctor's waggling his eyebrows, and I'm pretty sure he's going to descend into an ominous-looking structure. Yep. That would mean that it's time for the Wily stages to get underway. I'm ready to go do this. How about you? And we begin our ride with a little more jump, jump, slide, slide. Now the strategy for these sections that I use is to not really pay attention to the indicators screaming on the right, but more instead on the track in front of me. Because let's face it, if you take your eyes off the road, chances are you're going to get wrecked at some point. With the tellies in this stage, I like letting them come on screen on the right and then pulling back to the left. Gives you a lot more room to work with otherwise. Now another strategy to use as we start to speed up a little bit is that when you are making jumps, you want to push forward. In other words, hold right as you're jumping. And then once you land, pull back to the left. This will give you a little more time to react to everything. Because this second stretch can be pretty tough if you're not paying attention. Still making sure to push forward and pull back. You'll be able to get through this section in no time flat. Also, I love how the music just goes through its loop right at the very end of your ride there. Pretty neat touch. Now the Thunderclaw bit here can be a little tricky, specifically the one coming up, because you have to hit 2 pegs in a row. It's not as easy in the demake as it was in Mega Man 8. What you want to do is, if you saw that window up above that kind of slants down in the right, where it turns from green to red, that's when you want to press the button again. I know I'm probably not making this sound easy, but it really is. Trust me on that. A Tetamino, a Tetamino, who knows? Anyway, we're going to talk about this fight as if the zone's up top where you can hit him from 1 to 4, from left to right. If he's in zones 2 or 3, you have 2 spots you can hit him from. Either aim at the wall right next to him, or hit him from one of the columns underneath. If he shows up on the outside sections, then just get in the middle and aim at him from there. Unlike in Mega Man 8, you can actually get multiple hits on him per pass. And I could have finished him off there, but I wanted to show that the fake one will not blink his eyes. But yeah, kick the Mega Ball up into the bagworm's face, and he'll run off to Mega Man and base. The second Wily stage also has a vehicle gimmick, but that's a little bit later on. At first we've got a teeny bit of platforming and fighting to do, but you can make it easier on yourself by pulling out Tornado Hold. Just skip a good bit of it. Now, in Mega Man 8 I used the homing sniper here, but the homing sniper is not so good on those wall Tekus, as I found out later on. Did I find out later on? You'll see what I mean at the end of the vid. In the meantime, let's just look at how Ice Wave just tears up everything on the ground. It's still one of the best weapons in Mega Man 8. Yep. We don't need to fight every Teku, because we just want to get right to Rush, and the fun part of the level. Now this is actually the part where I will use one of my items that I've purchased. Being able to shoot 5 shots on screen. I believe it's called the shooting part, if I remember it correctly. I mean, you're giving a guy with a trigger finger a chance to press a button 5 times, or fire 5 bullets now? Yeah. I'm going to be rapid firing like crazy through this section. Gotta watch out for the enemies to pop out of pits, but luckily they can't hit you into them like they could in all the other stages they were in. That's just fine with me. A it's a good idea to stay ahead in this section so the Tekus can't fire at you, or the cannons for that matter. Although you want to pull back a bit when the whale shows up. I did have one failed run at this where he did a lot of damage to me. Once again, you want to pull ahead here for this little reverse T section, or otherwise you're going to get crushed. That wouldn't be good, considering we're right near the end. A few more enemies to deal with, like those dragons. Once we get past them, we are pretty much at our second boss already. Cool. Now, the only spots you can hit on the Blight King are its wings when they extend, so you gotta wait a little bit. Astro Crush does tear him up pretty good. Although one thing to note about the laser is that it'll go either up and then down, or down and up, something I wasn't ready for then. When it does the missiles, you might want to wait an extra little second to be able to hit all the missiles, otherwise you're going to get popped like I did there. After that, though, I'm going to get the hang of this. And you can see that it tears them up pretty quickly. Unfortunately, I'm out of Astro Crush ammo, but then again, that's why I use the shooting part. Honestly, I find the Blight King to be a very easy boss, but then again, you know, the first two Wily bosses are pretty easy. And granted, you had to hit the blue areas on him, something that caught me off for just a second. Once I figured it out, it's victory celebration time. 2 stages down already. Bye guys, don't need you anymore. Now, I will say right here, for the third Wily stage, I did split it up because I had a terrible run in this stage after the first 2 were done. So in other words, you're going to see me with full weapon energy as opposed to what I was before. That's because once I died, I just decided to go for a game over and then restock up. Doing all 4 stages in one life just wasn't something I had in mind for this casual playthrough. Also, here's the arguably worst bit of the Wily stages right here. You have to jump on the very edge of these things, or otherwise, chances are you'll smack your head and fall back down. Very annoying. It's also annoying that you can't shoot through the kill bombs, and that I missed so many shots in this Teku. I don't like waiting. Something you're going to find out also in just a little bit. This stretch is pretty simple. You just jump from one bomb to the next. In this case, though, I recommend staying on the lower route. And when you land on this 4th count bomb, make sure to wait a second and let that guy throw the rock, or otherwise you're not going to have a perch to step on. Once we take care of the hardest Sniper Joe ever created, nah, not really, we are already on to the boss. The mid-boss, that is. Hey, Base, why must I shut up? Well, that was rude. Anyway, when Base goes into the air, he's going to shoot his laser. You've got to get to the wall for that. If he goes in the ground or decides to shoot his meteor buster shot, you're going to have to move a little quicker than you did before. The shots can come down in waves of 2 or 3. And boy, Base is not really being fair right now. But yeah, and when he's the meteor rain, you want to walk on the ground instead of jumping up over him, especially when there's 3 waves instead of 2. On the ground, like I said, it can be a little tougher whether he chooses to shoot 2 slower moving shots or 3 fast ones. If he decides to shoot 2, you can just hop over both easily. Oh, I'm starting to get annoyed at this guy at this point, I do remember. But yeah, if he decides to shoot 3, and I know he will again eventually, you're going to want to hop over the first one, and then do a big hop over the 2nd and 3rd shots. As for the rest, that pretty much covers it. The fight's mostly simple, if you can keep up with his speed here. I just love this fight. And I love the remix of this song, no matter whether it's the 8-bit version or Mega Man 8 itself. Either way, this fight is just about over. And goodbye. Oh, Bass. Why you don't understand? Also, why don't I understand that this isn't Mega Man 8 and Astro Crush doesn't give you invincibility frames? Then again, that fight with Bass really takes a toll on your mental faculties and makes this home stretch a little harder than it needs to be. Let's ease things up by using Tornado hold-on jumps like that, but when you get to this part, you're going to have to be careful of the monkeys. Now, in a failed run, I actually used the power shield in case I did get hit, because goodness knows I didn't want to fall off. And I wound up missing a jump near the end here anyway, because jumping on up through larger gaps is a thing I struggle with too in Mega Man. But you know what? We made it. And it's on to the third and hardest boss of this triple feature, the Green Devil. Now what you want to do for this fight is hit him just a little bit with the Flash Bomb, and then switch on off to the Thunderclaw. I actually thought he was going to go for the Jello tidal wave there, but nope, I got smacked instead. But here you'll see it work a little bit better, the strategy you need to use to hit this guy. Flash Bomb for a couple of seconds, then switch off to Thunderclaw and get your 2 hits in. That's right, you only get 2 hits now before the body closes up instead of the 4 that you could get in Mega Man 8. That means either way, this fight's going to take a little longer than it used to. As for the Jello Blob dodging, it's still 1-4-2-3, 3-2-4-1, 1-4-2-3. I actually think it's easier in this game because the blobs aren't as large, nor is Mega Man's sprite, for instance. The one thing you have to watch out for, obviously, is him reappearing right on you. You saw me get hit by that as well earlier. But just as long as you switch Flash Bomb out, you're going to rack up the hits pretty quickly, and sure enough, I've got this one just about in the bag. I did say he was the hardest, but I still think he's moderately easy. Which is something you don't expect of a devil. In any case, that's 3 stages down, and we are coming up on the end of the video. I'll see you next time for the finale of Wily Tower and Rockman 8 FC. See you there. But before that, let's take a look at this bonus blooper footage of me being terrible at video games. These count bomb jumps are not easy, and like I said, you will smack your head on one if you don't move further out to the right than you think you can. And sure enough, I failed that again and again. And just when you think you've got it all figured out, nope. Why me?